start this week of the NLC.
Let's go. Thank you very much, Rita. As we are jumping into Champion Select for the first game of today, it is, of course, going to be Nativz up against Domino and Veteran. No real surprises with the first ban coming out there from Nativz. Spooders. Olaf has basically been permabanned this entire split.
Yep, when they had 2 axes, the Olaf and the Draven bans were the 2 that we guaranteed. Now 2 axes is down, no more Draven ban every time, but Spooder is never getting his hands on that Olaf. And now there's not as many guarantee bans that you have to do, now that we're in 13-13, the post-13-10 peak freak world. So the Olaf ban will exist on both sides. I don't think Spooder's ever seeing it.
Yeah, I was here for when we swapped onto 13-13, and nothing changed. Remember, we still had Static Shiver wrong. We had Aphelios knocking about everywhere. Speaking of Aphelios too, it is Blink's most played. It was also 2 axes most played as well. But a very, very popular ADC in the meta, but also a comfort pick for him. We'll see if there's any kind of pressure being put on that pick.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that we have seen the ban on the Jax as well. Like, you don't typically see that, but it's something that is in Spooder's wheelhouse and potentially betrays Nativz, actually putting Shikari more on a sort of tanky role and not letting him being scaled into.
Oh, that was a slam, by the way. We're unlikely
quick
to see Static Shiv LeBlanc today, and if they do, Nativz already have the answer for it in that Kai'Sa. Matching LeBlanc with Kai'Sa on those side lanes later is a really good counter. One interesting thing to note is the ban on towards Stefan's Kindred. That's been on the Stefan's mainstays. Kindred's seen some nerfs on 13-13, and Stefan could theoretically do all of that with a Nidalee, and Nidalee is at the peak of her powers right now, so interesting to see if maybe Nativz just replace that Kindred for her more powerful counterpart of Nidalee now.
Love that. Nidalee, you say she's at her peak, but I mean, have you played Nidalee? It's impossible. They've ruined her with only voice lines. So.
I'm sorry.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
you have to play the game muted now. It's
I suppose, I imagine you miss like the season 2 hitboxes on the spears as well.
Oh, absolutely. When you throw it and then you walk away, because the further away you are, the more damage it does. Like that was, it was thoroughly unhealthy, but those were the good old days of Nidalee.
I'm a nerd. I just mean at the peak of her numerical powers. I don't know about all of that. Ever since I played Ashe once, alright, and Ashe was rolling out a PhD for every single voice line. It was like, I'm muting voice lines.
Yes.
I've never looked back. It's insane, though. I don't know what they did with Ashe there. Okay, with the Maokai, though, we're definitely not getting the Nidalee. I also like to say the Renekton pick away also denies a Nidalee. That's one of the best pairings you could do in terms of setting up mixed damage on top side and setting up free ganks, similar to the Renekton Elise. And also picking Maokai away, you deny Domino going Renekton Maokai, which is also just completely broken. So I think it's a good choice, but Stefan's jungler has been locked.
Yeah, and then also this Tristana here for Domino could go into the mid lane, could go into the AD carry, obviously existing as that flex pick. I think the Yone likely going to be going towards Vladdy's hand. The fact that you've picked this without actually knowing what matchup you're going into is maybe a little bit unusual.
It's one of the best blinds in the game, though, I do have to say, right? Like, whenever Aziz picks, I'm thinking this. When Victor's picked, I'm thinking this. When basically anything is picked, Yone is essentially an option. He can, at the very least, survive. He's kind of like Irelia, and if he gets to that little set of 2 component items, he's basically already invincible. And Domino are like, great, we're into a Yone, that guy's gonna be strong, we need to make sure he gets the F out of our face. They have the Gragas, they have Tristana double disengage here, they're praying the Renekton stun could be enough, they don't want this Yone anywhere near their team.
So here's a question about the Renekton here. Do you flex it into the Yone, assuming Yone might be going mid? Because as a melee matchup, Renekton can kind of stomp onto Yone a little bit. This Gragas is also a big flex. Both Shaco and Spooder have played it. So, you know, it could be anything at this point. There could be a lot of spanners being thrown into the draft.
Yeah, it is. Also, like, what I'd normally associate with Clover 7 would be the Talia, and I figure if that gets removed on the next stage, then maybe they could look to do the Renekton on Clover. I don't know enough about Clover to know if he has the option of the Renekton, but we have seen it done before. It is a really good point. We haven't seen it done for a while, though, so it'd be quite unique if Domino pulled it out, and I don't think Nativz would be prepared for it.
Well, and I think that's exactly what you want to look for when you are going up against Nativz, who are a significantly stronger team, I think it is fair to say, than Domino, throwing a little bit of a curveball in draft. can make it work. And I want to get your thoughts on the bans coming through here from Domino, Foxtrot. We've got the Poppy and the Alistair. A lot of disengage, I feel like, taken off the board.
Yeah, they're also just like good all-around champions, because when you're, you've kind of got your core solidified here. I'd say if you're Domino, you kind of know what you want to do. A lot of, as you said, a lot of disengage options. If you do have that Gragas, like you don't really want the enemy team to also be able to just bonk you away when you're jumping in with Renekton, you're jumping in with Tristana. Like you want that to be able to stick, right? If you find your fight, you find your window, you want to be able to go take it and not have it all fluffed up and ruined by the likes of Poppy or Alistair. The Poppy as well is something that Shikari has played. Wow. All right, so it's going to be the brother duo in mid. Yasuo into Yone. That is sexy.
Yeah, I mean, they've basically matched the Yone with a sort of better version of Yone. Gragas and Yasuo in the aggregate do make up and constitute a better version of the Yone lane. I like it a lot. There's also a part of me that is curious, is this going mid-jungle? Because the way it's set up right now, you could easily have Tristana in mid lane, and you could have Gragas Yasuo in the bot lane, and go for a heavy skirmish jungler, like, for example, Elise. Elise Gragas Yasuo is the classic 3v3 bot side that stomps, and you already have Renekton, and you already have Tristana, so it actually synergized perfectly. So we'll see if Domino's brain has gone that far. I know Spooder's a subscriber, so he knows that I've talked about this combo before. So there is a slow chance. I love the response from Nativz, by the way.
Are you leaking strats to NLC pros based on their on their Patreon tier?
I leak it to anybody who's watching, alright, baby? If you want to watch, you know where to go, okay? I love the Braum as a response, though, right? Braum, Ornn as a response, really good disengage. Heimerdinger destroys Braum in the early phases. Did that get locked? That got locked.
That did get locked. That did get locked.
We saw Snarby Heimerdinger last split, and it became a little bit of a meme, because this was the most psychopathic Heimerdinger I've ever seen in my life. You are in for a treat, Fox Drop. This is all forward, all in, all the time. Do not let this guy breathe. You have double low range on the side of Nativz into this Heimerdinger as well. This could be a really spicy one. Domino want to fight, they want to push, they want to go perma in all the time.
Yes.
Nativz do have that scaling, and they should win an all-in team fight later. Domino don't want to let them have that. Domino can't let that have that. We're going to see some blood all the way through this game.
I'm excited. I love that. And also, just as a little side note as well, picking Ornn into Yasuo, I think is ballsy, right? Like that win ball completely cucks the Ram Jam. So that could be something that will really ruin the engage for Nativz if they're not careful.
Yeah, but I think we've got the identity, we've got the goals here for Domino. The question is, are they actually going to be able to execute it? Because early game composition, you are going to be stronger at that point, but we know how adept the players on Nativz are. They are willing to tussle with you early, but they're also willing to take a chill pill and take a step back and wait for the game to go longer before they're at their power spike. Foxdrop, I think if you're Shackle in this situation here on the side of Domino, where do you need to be going to get yourself to that accelerated state so you can actually win this game?
Yeah, okay, so meta's always camp bot, but bro, camp mid. Dude, you got the Gragas Yasuo combo here. Like it's illegal. It's so strong. Like not only do you have mixed damage profile, you've got CC on the side of Gragas plus loads of damage on the side of Yasuo, and of course once you get level 6, you have 2 ways to set up Yasuo's ulti. Right, you can either body slam with the flash to make that pretty much guaranteed, or just lob that cast from like miles away and set it up that way too. It is also important. If you're Shackle here, that you want to also try and shut down the Maokai Yone, right? Because that's also a very good combination in that mid lane. Like it's really, for similar reasons too, right? Like Yasuo as a champion, these champions by design tend to struggle with hard CC. You lock them down and they're pretty easy to deal with, and obviously Maokai is Maokai, like especially since it's not a projectile in any way, shape or form that Yasuo can block with the wind wall. So I think a lot of attention will be played around mid, and it's going to be pretty spicy in that side of the map.
I suppose it doesn't really count as a projectile when the tree itself is.
He is the projectile.
He is the projectile. This is what I'm saying. People say that Malphite doesn't have skill shots. I'm sorry, my entire body is the skill shot. But we are on to the rift for the first game of the day. No skill involved. Snobby, getting set up with these turrets in the bottom lane. It is important to do, veteran, on the Heimerdinger, and it's good for Nativz that Devoxne is able to clear them away.
Yeah, he's able to clear one away. Domino aren't going super hard up in the lane for this. This could indicate that we might see something happen topside. As the Gragas, by the way, you are kind of like a kid in a candy store here. Like, if you go top, you can't really lose. If you go mid, it's probably really, really good because you don't want Yone to get an item component. And if you go bot, I mean, Heimerdinger Triss should have perma pressure. So they could set up all a kind of a strat right now. We've gone red. We've skipped both camps top, so he's planning to end his clear on top side. So he could look to do something early bot, finish his clear top side, and do some sort of all-in with the Ornn. Honestly, I'd be so tempted this game as doing next to just go PTA and just go all-in on the laning phase. Ornn can't do anything to you if you've got PTA. He can't really do anything to you with Conqueror, but he's guaranteed there to be a PTA. Kind of surprised we're not in that sort of a mix. For Stefan, the game is calmer, right? He wins so long as he matches. If he matches the Gragas and delays the Gragas acceleration, then they should just win on the first skirmishes around Herald, around Drake. So calmer game for him, just a standard full clear going. Gragas is the one that has to mix things up, make it spicy, be unpredictable, make sure Stefan can't get those matches off.
With the shove in the bot lane coming out from Blink and Slubby, it does mean that there is no opportunity for Shackle, so he's going to path back towards the top side. And nice move out of lane there from Snubby and Brink to pop down that ward. So if Stefan does want to go for a play in the bottom side, it's going to be spotted out.
Yeah, Stefan just going for that full clear with Maokai chucking those little dickheads and oops, excuse my French, in the bush. Sorry, I've just got off my stream. I have to get into a different mode.
No, it's fair. So you got to wind down a little bit. You got to calm down. It's absolutely fine. You can have one.
Everyone gets
that.
one.
Fuck's sake,
I peaked too early.
That wasn't an invitation, veteran.
I like
you
your
so
diet,
much.
my boys.
We appreciate that. There you go. I can't remember. I've flustered myself. Yeah, Maokai pretty fast at clearing. Just doing that full clear instead. He has got that camp advantage on Shackle. Well, the Shackle's gone for the crab instead and just hovering around mid side. Maybe going even for the double crab here with that pushing the top side. Should be pretty free for him. If anything were to happen, you'd have a pretty hungry crocodile to help him out there.
I hope these guys weren't planning to get a push at any point, because it's just not happening.
Really not particularly enjoyable laning phase. Obviously, the Kaiser and the Brawn going to have more efficiency as we get later. Stefan, without anything in his own jungle, goes and steals away stuff from Shackle. Gragas not going to appreciate that at all. Something that I have noticed, gents, here, as Stefan is continuing to harass Shackle in the topside jungle, is then Vox and Twist have actually both opted towards the exhaust. Not something you typically see.
That makes sense with all the all-in, right?
Yep, so long as they don't stack it on top of the same target, it makes sense. And Kai'Sa is quite a viable side laner at certain points in the game, so she's not likely to just be on top of her Braum at all points. I do think this is good. They lack good summoners to go straight in towards Triss Heimerdinger if they want to go fully aggressive. You could argue they have one for the Heimerdinger, for the Tristana, not necessarily for the Heimerdinger. But they're not really planning to do anything for a while in this lane, right? They're only really going to do something if Steph and Yone come down, if they get that kind of like a 4v2 advantage, that kind of skirmishes. Otherwise, yeah, I think he's completely fine here.
Yeah,
he's just chilling on his tower. Yeah. Triss Heimerdinger, they will push in and be like, yeah, we don't feel like fighting, go away. Heimerdinger blocks every W, so a long-range engage is really difficult. Heimerdinger can block for Triss against the Maokai ult as well. They're super safe lane, right? So these kinds of fights are unlikely to happen. Oh yeah, and Heimerdinger just deletes objectives, so there's also that part. That's going to be fun later on when it comes to Baron and how do they do that, because they don't want to have a 5-on-5. Right? They don't want to. Unless they're completely steamrolling, they don't really want to have a 5-on-5. But if they can just delete the Baron in like a 20-second advantage that they have in timing over their opponent, that's an option, so long as you have a Heimerdinger on your team.
Well, and you think you've got the DPS coming out from the Yasuo in the mid lane that could assist in that, and I believe that once Tristana reaches a certain level, she gains enough attack range with her draw beat that she can actually do it over the wall as well. So Baron sneak's definitely a possibility for Domino, but I feel like if they're in a state where they have to sneak away a Baron from Nativz Foxdrop, then they haven't really executed the early game in the way that we want them to.
Yeah, but at the same time, Nativz is Nativz, man. These guys are good. They're very good. You know, they're second in the standings here. They've shown some really, really strong stuff. Some of the highest upsides, I think, from the NLC. Obviously, Verdant matching them alongside that. But we'll see though with Domino really just trying to get anything out of this situation where they can. Like, you know, when you're well, never mind. I thought it was gonna be a fight. I'm chatting rubbish. When you're struggling alongside, like, you know, 3 or 4 other teams in the middle of the tables, like. These games mean a huge lot, right? Because normally you would consider people like Nativz to not be someone that you're really, you know what, ignore this because we've got an engagement mid.
Missing the fate sealed. So it's going to throw out the Winter's Light and basically no damage actually going down onto the Asolo.
What a sidestep. Really, really nice.
An even game is not an even game, though. An even game is a slower game, and a slower game is a game in Nativ's favor. Domino haven't found anything. We are 2 minutes past that level 6 point, and Yasuo Gragas haven't got their combo off once. This Ornn hasn't died. The Ornn is at the same level of CS as a Renekton right now, and yes, bot lane's being shoved in. That has not translated into a lead in terms of XP, in terms of goal, in terms of anything for Domino. So right now, no real acceleration point. Stefan's harass on Shackle has been it to prevent Domino getting their composition off, but they're looking to change that right now.
Yeah, blast going over the wall from Clover 7, and the ult down onto Stefan, but Maokai's flash, he can just get away. It's a heavy investment. Vladdy here as well, doesn't have the Fate Seal for himself. He's able to lash out a fair bit of damage onto Clover 7 and to the Gragas, and gets the knock up through, forcing the flashback away. The exhaust on his back is going to slow him down, but he still keeps going forward. The flash from Shackle and the cast into Stabby's bum gets first blood for the Heimerdinger.
Okay, love the fact that the Heimerdinger actually arrived. Blink.
Oh, Blink.
Yeah.
No.
Should just be dead here. Overextending
That's
when
such a
his
crime.
team couldn't support him and punished.
There's like 6 different reasons why that sucked, but the biggest 2 are your Heimerdinger's gone wall keys, you know that, you can't be pushing out, and secondly, that wave's pushing into you, bro. You're not frozen or anything like that. There was like 1.5 mini waves coming into your tower. You could just chill. Maybe they'd look to set up a dive and you'd have to dip anyway, so maybe just trying to thin it out before it got to tower, but either way, that was just, that's a very, very unnecessary death here. We did put a bit of a highlight onto Blink before we came into the game as well, right? Coming over to Domino midway through the split. And he's shown some good things. That unfortunately was not one of them.
Yeah, something definitely off on the timing of Blink there, but do want to give some praise to Twist when he realized that the numbers advantage was insurmountably in favor of Domino on top side, immediately looked to make the response play on bot, and was able to catch out Blink in those few seconds where he was overextended on the map. So shout out to Twist.
And this has sort of allowed Denvoxne to become a little bit more accelerated than he should be on this Kai'Sa in this lane. Tristana, Heimerdinger, we saw the push in the early stages, and Denvoxne was basically a permanent resident under his own tower. He's not only got a kill here, but he's also been able to build up a CS lead.
Wow, quite significant as well. About 15 CS difference, and as Veteran said, that works in the favor of... And anything that isn't them getting stomped works in their favor of Nativz, so the scaling here is going to be pretty mega. And don't forget as well, this was a first pick, blind pick, slap down from the Kai'Sa as well. So really, really impressive that Nativz have been able to make this one happen as well as they have.
Kai'Sa honestly rewards patient play, rewards calculated play. If you're going all in all the time, it's not really going to go that well for you, but if you go all in and think about it more like an assassin, you can do very well on it. That's partly why Perks had so much success on this champion, along with Xayah and Varus when he was an AD carry for that brief period. And then Denvoxne, he's one of the most patient players that we have, a very, very calculated one. He's gonna see these advantages, he's gonna call these advantages, and he's going to take those advantages if Domino ever give them to him.
Certainly one of the players in the league with more killer instinct than most. Domino looking for a bot lane play here. They've got the explosive cast and the ult for Clover 7. But so notoriously difficult to dive on top of a Braum. Winter's Bite going to come out. Task here to just poke a little bit of damage. And Nativz, they're not responding to this at the moment. They seem content to let their bot lane deal with this by themselves. Domino starting off the dive. One shot onto them Voxnay. And Twist is going to follow him shortly after. This is a big play for Domino.
Twist tried his hardest there to stand on top of Shackle so that he couldn't get that ultimate off through the Braum shield, but when you're in point blank range, it's so hard to react in time to that, and that was a two-man knock-up, two-man follow-up for the Asuro too. That's just absolutely beautiful timing right there. They get so much out of that. They're going to go to the Dragon too, but now the question is, what can Nativz do on the other side? Spooder, his Spooder senses must be tingling here. Surely he must know something's going on. I think he might just get dove though.
Well, the roots come out, reveal themselves. The dive is oh so apparent. And Spooder is oh so dead. Second kill of the game for Nativz. This one in the top side.
Yeah, they're continuing to manage to delay the game out at the very least. A really good timing that Domino found on bot side, because even though you're going to get this kill on top, you're not going to get it onto any kind of critical champion. Yes, Maokai's powerful, but he's powerful regardless of how many kills he has. Whereas the Kai'Sa is now against a super accelerated Tristana. All 5 plates are taken on bot side, very good use of Herald, and instead of just sending their AD carry support mid, which I'm too used to seeing URL teams doing, Domino send their AD carry support to top and maintain this pressure. Force Nativz to match. Force Nativz to have to try to change the game, because right now, if you keep the map state as it is, Domino are winning hard.
Oh, you see they were able to take the second Drake after that bot lane play, and so they've got the lion's share at the objectives, and maybe the combo came out a little bit later than we were hoping for, but fundamentally Domino find themselves 2,000 gold to the good. 13 minutes into a game against a team at the top of the table.
Really good stuff so far here by Domino. I think just maybe, like you say, a little bit slow off the get-go, but aside from that, things are looking very, very nice. Of course, you don't want to write off Nativz. No way in the world can you do that. This is a team that likes to be patient, or this team comp specifically would like to be patient. They don't need to be dominating at this stage, and obviously being at the top of the standing, that's happened for a reason. So still some good things coming through here. I really do want to... It's a shame that Tristana wasn't able, alongside Heimerdinger, to get some more plates in the top side. I think with a bit of support, maybe they could have looked to do that. Nativz probably couldn't have contested, especially if it goes for like a little skirmish or something. I don't think Nativz want that fight, as it does potentially look like it's going to be set up now, however. These plates will fall off, and there won't be any big bounty at the end of it instead.
Both exhausts are up on the side of Nativz, just want to point out.
Yeah, and they've got a few more members here than last time. Domino going for a repeat of the play in the bottom lane, but this time they're the ones who feel the brunt of the damage. Vladdy gets his first kill of the game, and Domino, they're going to have to back away with this pressure on the top side.
Sucks.
It does suck. It's a big suck.
I mean, it's a really good move. Whenever you're getting dive, whenever you're getting flanked, particularly, collapse on the flank if that's possible. Nativz were shallow grouped as 4. They collapsed on the shallow part of the flank from the side of Domino, from their perspective, the deep side of the flank, and they grabbed that kill on towards Yone because it was a 4v2, not a 4v4 anymore. The tower separating the Tristana and Heimerdinger from the rest of the team. Really good move by Nativz, made in a split-second decision. A terrible situation for Domino, who know that they can't win those fights now, struggle even when they're ahead. And honestly, love your Snarby, but with this goal separation, they're definitely behind.
Yeah, I suppose getting the support fed is not necessarily the goal of most team compositions. Domino going to be able to take their 4th neutral objective of the game as Shackle picks up the Rift Herald, and Snarby does a fair bit of damage to Twist. You need to get the shield up earlier if you want to maintain your health. Yeah,
the shield is in a hill. It blocks things. It reminds me of the old Alistar Tryndamere ult, where Alistar players use their ulti as they're about to die, as if it was Tryndamere ult, and Tryndamere players use it when they're on like 60% HP, as if it reduces the damage taken. Like, yeah, that's a bit of one of those scenarios there, unfortunately for Twist, but of course he did get stunned from Fog of War, so I suppose we'll let him off for that one. Nativz now though, just chinning a little bit here, beginning to... That lead on the bot side, well, as it technically is now the top side, the Voxnay side is still at that 20 CS mark. Anything that's just chill here is all very good for Nativz. That overall gold lead as well, being chipped away ever so slightly, and as Veteran has pointed out a few times here, with the way these team compositions are looking, anything that isn't a massive loss in the early does ring pretty well here for Nativz, as Domino instead are going to be looking to barrel down mid lane. I'm not quite sure they've got the timing right just yet for a big push onto this tower. We could be seeing another skirmish here as all characters are moving towards mid, including the big engage from Shikari with no Clover to stop with that wind wall.
Drake soul points on the board in 15 seconds. That's an Infernal, so I think for Nativz, feeling a little bit more confident, feeling like a little bit more able to contest the early game power that Domino have brought to bear, and they need to, because you don't want to be going down Infernal soul points. Domino still with a position in the river, starting up the Drake.
This could be bad though. Domino taking a lot of poke already. Just a good engage here from Nativz. That's all they need.
Dragon falling low is going to start to reset. Vladdy on the side. Here comes the call of the Forge God onto one. Flash over the wall. And the Heimerdinger is gone. Vladdy with the assassination play. And Domino will now be forced to play out a 4v5. Nativz know how this feels, and it's going to be absolutely awful for Domino. Spooder dropping down their exhaust on Clover 7 as he's escaping under his tower. Twist having to tank that one up, but Nativz not going to overstep, not going to grab more than they need to. Will return to the river, will return to the Drake.
The HP, the damages, the utility, the everything that Nativz composition brings when they are grouped, that Domino have almost no answer for. They have their disengagement heals, but they do not have enough against this. You can disengage the Kai'Sa and she can bounce right in. You can't disengage Maokai if he's ulting at you from 2 screens away. You can maybe try to Yasuo windball the R2 on the Ornn, but then you can't do that about the Maokai. You can't do that about anything else coming into you. Nativz have overloaded Domino's tools in a 5-on-5 situation. Yeah. Maybe you can win skirmish, but if every Drake contest is going to look like that, you're not getting another Drake for the rest of the game.
I love your line of thinking, Veteran, because this feels like an inflection point in the game. This feels like we've got a momentum shift here. Domino, they're running the early game a little bit because that's kind of what their comp does, but Nativz, they found themselves at a stronger point. The gold lead is even, and as the game gets later and later, Nativz are only going to get stronger.
And it's difficult as well for Domino if you can't win those early dragon fights, and I guess, you know, pre-20 minutes we can consider this an early dragon fight. As Veteran said, it's going to be much harder to try and get these as the game goes on. And I think the Heimerdinger is pivotal in these fights because of how good his zone control is, right? Like, you put the turret down and suddenly this big area is really hard to navigate. You've got the rockets flying forward, you've got the grenades coming forth. And when he just dies instantly, he doesn't provide any of that benefit, and then suddenly a lot of this dragon contest just becomes so much easier for Nativz. I just don't know how Domino's going to have an answer for it anymore. Like, they themselves don't really have the disengage tools. If it's not Heimerdinger throwing things out, and I guess like a Gragas ulti, which really does want to be used to set up, by the way. Like, it is the only setup for Yasuo if you're excluding Tristana ult, which I think is probably not going to be used to set up Yasuo.
It's not real. It's not real.
Yeah, it's not something you want to be using as a disengage, so it could be a little bit tricky here as Clover's got a good bait here against Nativz. Shaco is waiting.
Oh, onto Vladdy, one shot onto the Yone!
Yeah.
Okay, when the Gragas is coming out of Fog of War, stuff like that is possible. And with Vladdy off the board, Domino with the Heimerdinger, and 20 minutes on the clock might feel like going for a play around the Baron, especially if Spooder can catch out Shikari here. It's actually the Renekton taking the Lion's share of the damage. Double stun from the bomb, but no follow-up from Domino.
I just realized you're saying... Are you saying bomb? Is that... Can you say bomb? Like Heimerdinger bomb?
Bomb.
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 Are you saying bomb? Or are you saying bomb?
I'm saying bomb.
Okay, because I've heard you say bomb, and I was like, oh, that's quite quirky. He's talking about, you know, Heimerdinger getting smacked around on the backside a little bit. But no, you're describing his E. I just realized that. See, what I thought for charm was just you describing his ability.
I'm not talking about Heimerdinger's ass. Don't worry.
No. Well, you know, I was we'll have our
You're still
things,
in
I
stream.
suppose.
You're still in stream mode, Foxdrop. You're still in stream mode. You need to.
I can't.
you need
Yo,
to-
he said
Well,
it.
I
not
don't,
me.
bro, if he's streaming Heimerdinger's bum, I don't know. Like maybe it's a LOD situation. Rather not get involved.
Loco, but V2. Mate, that's a throwback. My goodness. Tristana's in this game as well, so my goodness.
Let's not.
Wait,
Let's
that was
not.
Loco? Wait, that was Loco?
I think it. I mean.
I think
it
what we
was,
are saying could potentially be verging on libel here, so I think we might want to calm it down a little bit.
No, wait. You know what? I've got to Google it because I do owe him an apology if it's not him. You guys continue, by the way. I'm just going to do a little bit of research here.
We'll continue. Domino are the ones that are really struggling to continue right now. They don't like the state that the game is in. They're trying to find catch plays. The play they made on Vladdy, it was a 2v1, but that's what you have to do. Maybe you can even win in a 3v3 skirmish because you're either against all their HP and none of their damage, or all their damage and none of their HP utility. These are the best case scenarios Domino can hope for right now, while Foxtrot finds us who was doing the deed to the Tristan.
Let's not.
No.
But you are very right. It is a 2-carry composition from Nativz, and for Domino, it feels like it's somewhere between 2 and 4 based on how fed Jackal is and based on where Snarby is putting his turrets, landing his skill shots and everything. And that does give you an advantage if you are able to take either Vladdy or Denvoxnate off the board. The issue is, both these guys are very smart players, and dislodging them from a team fight, I think is going to be very difficult.
Let's talk about the game, shall we?
Who was it?
Who? Let's say that neither of those individuals have clean records.
Wait! There's more than one! Sorry, go on.
No, right.
Yeah.
Is there a bucket in your pocket?
There's So Domino, how about these guys? They've definitely making a bit of a middle of this game so far. The early game was looking a little bit better. They're still in the lead gold-wise, which would maybe fool you into thinking that they had a good showing of things here, but it's not to be, and this is the Corpse Buddha.
Oh, he's able to heal up with the Culver Meat, the ult as well, but Blink actually is the one that gets taken out. But meanwhile, Domino started up the Baron. They're going to have to disengage that one lickety split.
Dear.
It's 2 kills for Vladdy, and Nativz are going to say thank you very much for the leash.
Yep, a third name has been added to Foxdrop's list. Vladdy wanted Tristana too, and he got her. Flash and Cleanse still up. That disengage not enough, and not fast enough to get out of the knock-up there and attempt to actually get to safety. Now Vladdy's just zoning the rest of the team solo. There's no way Domino can contest this, and they're not in a position to trade for Drake because Nativz attacked through the midsection there, which means they can reset really fast with their Baron, be back on the map, and immediately start another contest on this Infernal. If Domino actually tried to contest that, actually tried to go for Soul Point, that could be the game ender. But what do they trade for it? They're not in a position to do anything on tier 2 top. They can't touch bot side. They don't even have jungle camps on top. There's very little for Domino to do. They're somewhat locked out of the game entirely.
And this, I feel like, is Nativz showing what a strong team looks like. Recognizing that the early game was not theirs to play. It was all about sitting back, absorbing the pressure from Domino as well as they can. Then as soon as that 20-minute mark hit, it felt like a switch flipped in their brains. And the composition all of a sudden was strong, and the team fights were all of a sudden incredibly playable. And Domino, well, they're going to start losing more towers. We've still got 2 minutes left on this Baron, and Nativz, they don't even need to commit all of their resources to one place to get what they want. They got that bot lane tower with just Voxnate and Twist, and the Yone and the Maokai were able to pick up the Dragon.
What's most impressive to me about Nativz is their killer instinct. It's not a Kaiser pun, I promise. I just mean, like, when they see the opportunity, they take it, they execute on it. They don't mess about, you know, like, the perfect example would be that Baron play. They saw some people slightly out of position, even though it's the Renekton, who is, you know, one of, if not the tankiest person on their team, still pulled the trigger, still went for it, and here, seeing the opportunity to just siege this tower, they don't hold anything back. You know, the Maokai ult just to push them away, getting the tower for free there, like, it's just... It must be so suffocating playing versus Nativz. Such a difficult team to play against.
I mean, true, but Spooder was actually ahead on the top tier 2 there. He took out the top tier 2 while they were still sieging with Varen on bot. They weren't able to get a full acceleration play, and they are unable to continue to tier 3 because if they leave Spooder alone, Spooder actually is winning that base race. He has too much threat on the Ornn, so the only reason Spooder's giving up now is with the full knowledge that Nativz have reset and Nativz could be making a group play on him. But Spooder actually won the map effectively there. Yasuo is now going to be ahead of Nativz on the bot side, despite playing into a Baron buff. That was pretty good map play displayed by Domino there. But it might not be enough. Their composition doesn't have enough answers, and they haven't been doing as well in the fights as the more experienced and very, very mechanically talented Nativz team.
What were they doing there? Chickens, just invading chickens here. They're looking for a trap, maybe? Trying to find that pick and then break the split push that way? I'm not sure. It didn't work either way. It's another ult just to push people off towers. You have to think here. It's going to be 3 towers on the top side for Nativz and no response, no answer here for Domino.
Yeah, Yasuo only just reached the tier 2 on bot side. He's already having to recall, but it could be a lot worse right now. You could have seen Nativz looking to end the game if Domino didn't do those map moves, so it was a good intent by them. But Nativz are saying, no, we're not going to fall for this. We're not going to keep splitting on that. We're going to just force and force. Maybe you didn't get kills on you last time, but we did burn your flashes, and this is going to get easier. You will eventually have to fight us, and when you do fight us, that's when we're going to win the game.
I mean, you just look at the inventories of the various members of Nativz. Shikari and Stefan basically immovable with the tank items that they built for themselves. Demvoxne, 3 items on this AD Kaiser, and I'm sure that Vladdy is going to be picking up his 3rd item off this recall as well. They are online. They are ready to play, and if Domino mis-execute on the next team fight, it could be curtains. Going for a bit of a siege onto this mid lane tower. Cask actually coming out from Shackle to attempt some disengage. Not really sure that was entirely necessary.
Nah, that's the power of Riley's Heimer as well, right? Did you see the... Oh, that's
Body slam, ult on 2-3, but Nativz are just too tanky at this stage for Domino to one-shot them. Now Vladdy at the fight, level 16 for himself, kills the Tristana in the blink of an eye. And that looked very, very good at the start for Domino, but it is looking very, very bad now. Demvoxne with the killer instinct into the backline, and Vladdy tearing them apart for a triple.
What a play there. What a good engage from Domino, but it's just not enough being whacked about by Nativz. They're stronger. Team comp, the items going through as well. Domino realized they had to try something. They just had to. They had to go for it. That was their opportunity, and it was looking all right to begin with, but just not enough. And Nativz now barreling down into the base. So Domino, this could just be curtains for this team.
Such a shame, man. It was a 5v3 opportunity. They felt like this could be it. Maybe we can make a fast play, but if you're against the tankiness and utility of Nativz, fast plays do not exist anymore for you. And they were able to delay enough for the rest of the carries to come in, turn the fight, Tristana down, everybody on that team down. They do not discriminate like apparently 200 individuals do. And that's it. 2 inhibs down. They're just looking to close the game in one swift fight.
I mean, what are you looking at here for Domino? It's a Baron steal that involves no one dying somehow and maybe someone on Nativz dropping off the board. I feel like that's the only way that you can make this game last even longer than the next 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's so difficult here. Like on the upside, if this is an upside, like you do have some bounties available and still that tier 1 mid, I guess. If you can, like tier 1 towers tends to be a little bit easier to grab, but yeah, you catch Vladdy like they did once before with the Gragas with the face check, and maybe, you know, that's 700 gold or 600 now into your pocket, but it's just going to be difficult. Demvoxne's jumping in.
Yeah, and if that doesn't illustrate the gold lead, I don't know what does. The Kaiser being the primary engaged and the first one to claim a kill. A little bit of a split fight, but Nativz are A-okay taking it. The DPS on the top side, the tanks on the bottom, both doing absolutely fine. Blink jumping away and actually able to get a kill onto Stefan and reset himself out of there.
Okay.
And then Voxday falling to Spooder. Okay, 2 for 2. This probably doesn't save the game for Domino, but they're putting up a fight.
Lil Bro thinks he's Jack Spectra, who did some very ballsy things on the Kaiser in the Superliga LAN the other day, for anyone who caught that. But ultimately it doesn't matter. Nativz win the game. You can go as many highlight reels as you want here. Domino do not have the damage, they do not have the utility, they do not have the tankiness to sustain against this, to delay the game out any further. The game is over. Nativz are the team that had all of those tools in their kit, and they won together as a team.